Nicole here, writer, producer, and editor at Critical Crop Top, and on this Tutorial Tuesday, we're going to set up a project and save our work. Okay, so in this tutorial, we are going to talk about how to create a project in Premiere, how to properly set it up, what all that stuff means that we see in the window when we're trying to create a project, and also some best practices when saving our project files. So let's go ahead and open up Premiere. I'm going to do that just by clicking down here on the dock. Now, I recommend storing the project files that we're creating in Premiere on the desktop for a couple of reasons. Number one, sometimes when you run the project file for a project off of the same hard drive, the external hard drive where you're storing the media, it can cause some quirks and some problems. So that's one of the reasons that I store the project files on the desktop of my computer, and I store the media files on an external hard drive in another location. Also, I don't like to put all my eggs in one basket. If something goes wrong with my hard drive, I don't want to lose everything. Of course, we are going to be backing up the project file to other places, but we'll talk about that at the end of the tutorial. So once I open up Premiere, I get this window here, and it has a list of all the projects that I've opened up recently. So if I have something ongoing that I'm working on, I can just click on that and open it. And if I'm making a new project, I just go over here and click New Project. So here is my new project window, and of course I'm going to want to give that a title. I'm going to call it Tutorial Tuesday. Great. Right here under in this location heading here, this is the directory where I can save my project. And again, we're saving the project file itself, not the media files. The project files and the media files are share a link, but they are not the same thing, right? So mine is already set to go to the desktop, but if you click this browse button, you can actually choose to save it anywhere you like. So you can go down here and choose, okay, desktop, and I've created a folder for my Adobe projects, which I can click on and then hit choose, or wherever it is that you're planning to save it. Now you can see there's a lot of other things that I can customize or set here in the project window. At this point, I wouldn't have you worry too much about that. I would just leave everything as is. So this all looks good. Scratch disks, I wouldn't worry about. If you were capturing from tape, we would definitely want to set our scratch disk or where that digitized footage is going to go to, but we're not capturing from tape most likely. And in fact, in these tutorials, we're using digital video files, which is probably what you're going to be using. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. So just leave this all as is. Ingest is something that we can cover in another tutorial. This can be very helpful to customize when we are importing, say, 4K footage, and we want to import it as smaller files so that we can edit more quickly. But we're not going to be doing that in this tutorial, so I would not worry about it. So just leave everything as is, and once you've set the location of your project where it's going to be saved to, go ahead and hit OK. All right, so here we are inside of Adobe Premiere, and that's pretty much all we're going to cover for this tutorial. We've created a project, so now that we've created it, how do we save it? We can go up here to File, Save. So this is our menu toolbar at the top here. Go to File, Save, right? And there we go. Now our project is saving to that location that we told it to go to. You'll notice that there's also a key command for save, which is Command S. I would get in the habit of just, as you're working and you finish something critical as you're working on your project, just a Command S every now and then is a nice way to ensure that your project will not disappear if it crashes. Premiere Pro is pretty good about recovering projects when they crash, but it's and of course it does autosave your project at regular intervals, but no, there's nothing worse than getting deep into an edit and doing something really great and you're like, oh my God, that was perfect. The brilliance has happened. And then your project crashes and you lose it and you can never quite get it back to where it was before. So Command S just periodically is your friend. Okay, so let's go ahead and quit out of Premiere Pro. We're gonna go up here to Premiere Pro at the top menu and then quit Premiere Pro, or of course you can do Command Q. And so where did our project go to? So let's go over here to my Adobe CC projects folder, and there it is. So it even tells us what time we saved it. As you can see, these files, even the ones that I've been working on for a while, are really small. So in addition to saving on my desktop, I might want to save it to a USB drive, one of those little thumb drives, or I would recommend saving it to some kind of cloud drive, like if you have Dropbox or Google Drive is free, very easy to save to Google Drive. So that is always a good place to back up your files. And when I say backup, I just mean save copies to other locations. So periodically, maybe you want to save a backup just in case something happens to your computer or happens to your hard drive if that's where you're storing it.
And there you go. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a Tutorial Tuesday. And while you're here, check out some of the short films, web series, podcasts, and sketches that we've produced. If you've got a question about today's tutorial, or if you have a topic that you'd like us to cover on Tutorial Tuesdays, then leave it in the comments for us. That's it for today's tutorial, and we'll see you next time.